So the deeper you dive into this whole Mike Licona, John West debate that Sean McDowell hosted on his YouTube channel, the more interesting the story becomes. So um, I posted a couple shorts yesterday about it, and I when you watch the actual video, you don't get the full context, or at least they allude to things that the more you research it out, the more you're like, oh, that's what's going on here. So apparently, when you watch the debate, they both reference something. So Licona references that John West doesn't have the credentials. We talked about that yesterday. John says, "Well, I'm not the person who should be here anyway. There's a couple different people who would be better arguing, but you didn't want to argue with them. Lydia McGrew was one of them." Which she's her specialty is in like philosophy of religion, that kind of stuff. And so and you don't really know this unless you dig in deep, but she has, I mean, West alludes to this, but she has written extensively on Lacona's work, about in the disagreements that she has with some of his takes on things. And he mentions in the video he's already responded to her. And so John's like, well, I'm not even the person you should be arguing with. There's other people if you want to go that route. Talk about people who don't have the credentials or whatever. And Lacona dismisses McGrew as well, saying, well, she's not in the field either. But she's probably more in the field than West is. But anyway, that I digress. So last night I got actually got a comment from Lydia McGrew's daughter on one of my shorts, and she wanted to fill in some of the gaps on that, which is great, whatever. And like I said in a couple of the comments, I don't really have a dog in this fight because if you go back on my channel, you can watch my review of Lacona's book. I agree with them at points, disagree with them at points in the book. I wouldn't go as far as West says with how it could be damaging and that kind of stuff. And I really don't agree with West either. So it just is kind of fascinating. But the more you dig into the story, the more you realize that there's other stuff going on. Like West wrote a book and used Lacona in his book to show the dangers of Lacona's position. And then apparently he's been out promoting his book using Lacona's name in that way. And so this is probably likely why Lacona wanted to schedule this debate and wanted to do what he did at the beginning, just to kind of I don't know, get a way to get back at it. It seemed very out of place.